This is Art Television.
Coming up, State of Business, sponsored by
ඔබගේ ආදරණීය වාහනය ආදරයෙන් සුරකින්න ඉකු ටැබ්ලට්ස් භාවිතා කරන්න.
IWS Aviation.
A very good evening and a warm welcome to State of Business on Art Television. I'm Pamudha Katagampala. Let's have a look at the headlines first. BOC records a profit of 29 billion rupees despite the challenges from the COVID-19. And CEB plans a debenture issue for a 10 billion rupees capital raise. News in detail. One of the largest trade shows in the world recognized and acknowledged Sri Lanka's biobubble concept on tourism recently. ITB Berlin Trade Show in Berlin also said that Sri Lanka is a secure yet beautiful destination with much diversity, authenticity and serenity to be experienced by visitors in the new normal travel. Sri Lanka tourism has been recognized for its innovative biobubble concept by the ITB Berlin, which was concluded recently. The magazine stated that whilst other countries were puzzled over quarantine, closed borders and limited visits, the introduction of the novel concept has encouraged tourist travels to Sri Lanka in a safe and secure mechanism. The entire industry was represented at the fair, ranging from tourist boards, tour operations, system providers, airlines, public relations agencies and advertising agencies. It was also revealed that German tourist arrivals since the reopening of the airports in January to March this year are recorded as the third highest contributor to visitor arrivals in the country. Stakeholders in the tourism industry say that the recognition and acknowledgement of Sri Lanka tourism's strategic approach in Berlin will be a massive confidence booster, and it will make a direct impact on Sri Lanka's tourism industry. Bank of Ceylon yesterday announces that BOC's profit before all taxes was 29 billion rupees for the last year with 3 trillion rupees assets. However, BOC's 29 billion rupees profit was lowered by 28% from 2019, and after-tax profit of 17.7 billion rupees was down by 23%. Bank of Ceylon accounts for 24% of overall banking sector assets, including 23% of its loans and 24% of deposits. BOC Chairman Kanchan Ratwata yesterday told the media that BOC's total income rose by 3.4% to 247 billion rupees, despite the fact that the year being challenging. BOC's 29 billion rupees profit before all taxes in 2020 was lower by 28% from 2019, and after-tax profit of 17.7 billion rupees was down by 23%. The bank's total operating income rose by 2.2% to 93.3 billion rupees, but net income declined by 15% to 62 billion rupees. Chairman Ratwata said that the result was due to the impairment charges on loans and advance increasing by 53% to 28 billion rupees, which almost all the banks had to face. BOC's non-performing ratio was 4.78%, but below industry average and marginally down from 4.79% in 2019. Operating expenses were managed better, with only a 1.8% increase to 33 billion rupees. Chairman Ratwata also added that in 2020, BOC's loans and advances grew by 28% to 2.1 trillion rupees. The SME and microfinance sector had been supported with 129 billion rupees in fresh funding. Under the Saubhagya Working Capital Loan Scheme, BOC also extended the highest facilities worth 39 billion rupees to 18,589 customers. He also added that the bank extended moratorium for facilities valued at over 550 billion rupees to 258,000 customers as part of the government and central bank initiated debt moratorium as relief for COVID-19 impacted enterprises and individuals. Siloam Electricity Board takes a fresh move to raise its capitals investing at the Colombo Stock Exchange. Accordingly, the CEB plans to raise up to 20 billion rupees on Colombo Stock Exchange through a listed debenture. The Colombo Stock Exchange, in a brief statement yesterday, said that it has approved an application by the Ceylon Electricity Board to issue listed redeemable rated debentures at an issue price of 100 rupees, amounting to a potential capital raising of up to 20 billion rupees. The debentures will be issued for a period of 5 years with a fixed coupon interest rate of 9.35% to be paid annually. The issue will open on the 8th of April this year. The initial issue will consist of 100 million debentures with an option to issue up to a further 100 million debentures at the discretion of the Siloam Electricity Board in the event of an oversubscription of the initial issue. This will create the way for Siloam Electricity Board to raise 10 billion rupees in capital initially, with an option to raise a further 10 billion rupees subsequently. The Colombo Stock Exchange CEO Rajiva Bandaranaike commended the CEB's decision and said that the move demonstrates the confidence placed in the Sri Lanka stock market by both private and state institutions as an effective and efficient source of capital raising. Stay tuned for more news after this short break.
මගේ ආදරණීය වාහනය ආදරෙන් සුරකින්න මම පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ එකෝ ටැබ්ලට්. ඔයාලගේත් වාහනයට බය නැතුව එකෝ ටැබ්ලට් පාවිච්චි කරන්න.
ඔබගේ ආදරණීය වාහනය ආදරෙන් සුරකින්න ඉකු ටැබ්ලට්ස් භාවිතා කරන්න.
වසරේ දැවැන්තම විවාහ මංගල ප්‍රදර්ශනය අප්‍රේල් 2, 3, 4 දෙදින පුරාවට බණ්ඩාරනායක සමන්ත්‍රණ ශාලාවේ සිනමාවෝ බණ්ඩාරනායක පරිශ්‍රයේදී මනාලියන් දැක්ම සහ රූපලාවන්‍ය පිළිබඳ වැඩමුළු රාශියක් දෙදින පුරා විවාහ 2021 සංවිධානය ඉවෙන්ට් මීඩියා සමානුග්‍රහය මාධ්‍යානුග්‍රහය තරුණී පුවත්පත.
News, views, highlights, updates and opinions. This is Wake Up With Us.
Welcome back after the break. Government together with private sector take measures to develop identified rural industrial areas with much necessary facilities. The Ministry of Industries has already commenced the program and developed 32 industrial estates with water, electricity, road facilities and all infrastructure facilities. Establishment and development of industrial estates locally is one of the major long-term programs carried out by the Ministry of Industry of Sri Lanka. The awarding of lands in industrial estates conducted by the Ministry of Industries to new investors under the Dinanarata Awakening Industrial Programme was held yesterday at the Bandaranaike Memorial International Conference premises. Expanding industrial development limited to urban areas to the local level, developing rural employment with higher wages, developing the local economy globally and developing local infrastructure are the main objectives of the programme. The government of Sri Lanka has so far spent around 4,517 million rupees for the purpose. The value of investment made by private investors in the industries of these industrial states is around 6,500 million rupees. It includes garments, polythene products, plastic recycling, cement-based products, food processing, dairy products, organic food products and waste rubber recycling. 57 plots of land have been set aside in the industrial estate for new investment, in which 570 million rupees has been invested, and it has created around 5,000 new jobs. Head of Research at First Capital Holdings, Dimantha Matthews, says that the stock market showed positive signs of stabilisation this week with an upward in the overall index. There was a significant rise this week in the buying interest coming back into the markets, especially through the banking and capital goods sector.
Overall, what we are seeing is the stabilization phase in the market and upward movement in the index happening, and with that we are seeing buying interest especially coming into the banking sector and capital goods sector counters, which is an extremely positive sign and very important for the stabilization of the index. and also turnover levels were rather healthy, and we were experiencing a rise in turnover levels with the increased activity and buying interest towards the end of the week, and with that we saw turnover levels also improving. Now we saw a major transaction taking place during this week, and that is mainly in Piramal Glass, where the majority stake of Piramal Glass was transferred, and that boosted turnover during the week, and with it there was the Blackstone group that bought into Piramal Glass during this week.
Meanwhile, Head of Research at First Capital Holdings, Dimantha Matthews, says that the positive sentiment present at this week is expected to continue in the upcoming week. Speaking to the Art Television exclusively, he also added that there will be a slowdown in the market in mid of next week with the upcoming festive season.
In the upcoming week, we are expecting an increased level of retail activity, at least during the first half of the week. But then towards the second half of the week, what we are expecting is overall slowdown in the market activity levels because of the upcoming festive season, mainly the Sinhala and Tamil New Year that is coming up next week. So with that, we are expecting a bit of a slowdown in the activities. Retail favorite counters are likely to get activated again with the higher retail activity that is likely to take place. Also, we are expecting, with the positive earnings that are likely to come, the banking and the capital goods sector, for there to be more buying interest into these two sectors, because we've seen this conversion happening where investors are moving into these two sectors where there are more fundamentally sound counters, and that is quite a positive sign. So we are expecting overall turnover levels to be around the 1 billion mark, and possibly slightly lower turnover towards the second half of the week.
That's all news for today. See you on Sunday with Biz Roundup at 6:30 p.m. Until then, take care and good night.
State of Business was sponsored by
ඔබගේ ආදරණීය වාහනය ආදරෙන් සුරකින්න ඉකු ටැබ්ලට්ස් භාවිතා කරන්න.
IWS Aviation.